Oh, g'day scrappers. Just came back from a little pickup and got these karaoke kind of systems, like Party World Sonic Solution. So they're pretty old, but these were like based in a karaoke center back in the day when karaoke was popular, I think. So these are the amplifiers, and they look pretty interesting. I'm just going to scrap a couple out and just see what they look like inside. And then there's these other boxes here that are also part of it. So they're quite heavy. So they're okay. So these are the pre-amplifiers. Party Mix Series Karaoke pre-amplifier. Okay. Disco sub-bass amplifiers. Might be interesting. They're all kind of power amplifiers by the looks of it. There's these three, these four, and this one on its own. So I'm just going to have a little look inside and scrap one of each out and just see what they look like inside. It might be interesting. Alright, well, I'll start off on this amp here. It says P8000. Yeah, it's the only one I've got of this version, so I thought I'd do this one first. I tried looking them all up, but these are specific to this actual company. So obviously they're like custom made to their specifications. So there's nothing on these model numbers or anything online. So they're not something that is just bought. It's just specifically for this Party World mob. So let's open it up. I undone all the bolts underneath, so I think most of the things inside are already been loosened up. But they're super heavy, so there must be a big transformer in there. Okay. But as I like scrapping out anything that's sort of unusual that I don't pick up very often, and I've certainly picked up karaoke stuff before, but just your basic karaoke stuff that you can buy at the department store. So this is the first karaoke. Well, they're only amplifiers, so no doubt there's a lot more to it than that, but well, I've never done karaoke amplifiers anyway. Alright, here we go. Hey presto. Wow. Alright. Well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Look at the size of this coil. Goodness. Wow. I want to get that. Wonder how much copper is in it. I mean, just going by the plug, you can see it's actually rusted. They should be brass, so probably just surface rust that's formed, but obviously they've been sitting out for years, so this stuff would be pretty old. Okay. Oh. Whew. Wow. That's very heavy. Looks like we got nice aluminium heat sinks here with a couple of power boards on each side. Really cool. Okay. I'll just unplug the other end. Well, nothing looks, it doesn't look burnt out or anything like that. The capacitors look good, and oh wow. Well, that's very heavy. Wow. It's, it says P 8,000 amps, 1500 watts. I don't know, but that date 2008, so only 8 years old. Wow, that's the heaviest 8-year-old thing that I've pulled out for quite a long time. I might just give it a little weigh. Okay, it's 11.5 kilos. So what's that? About 25 pounds. Wow. What a beauty. I'd like to open it up and check out the copper in there, but I fear that it's going to be mostly ferrite. Geez, if there's even half of that much copper in there, it'll be really good score. But, geez, I don't know what it, I'm not sure. I don't think it'll have any use to anyone. Could just sell it as a transformer kind of thing, or yeah, can get pretty, you know, as a transformer, 11 kilos, you know, should get about, you know, it's only worth about $7 or something. So wow, that was super. That's a coil and a half. All right, what else here? Okay, not much, just this thing. Yeah, it's all the bolts were underneath, so it's obviously done the job. Okay, that's cool, isn't it? Tubular heatsink. That's really cool. It's 2-piece, and so on each side there's your power boards, bit of copper, side, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Wow. So these are 1000 UF, 63 volts. Wow. How's that heatsink? It's beautiful. might undo it, and nothing else here apart from just a couple of back power boards. A lot of MOSFETs or that wasn't so bad. Thought it was going to be a bit of a job, but yeah, interesting. Sort of not much for precious metal recovery, you know, a little copper coil in there. That's about it. Wow, that's a fantastic heatsink, and it's 2-piece. That's super. Oh. .4 kilos. It's not bad. Well, 2.4 kilos of extruded aluminium is only worth about $3.50. And you know, not even $3.50. But you know, how can you possibly send this to the scrapyard and get $3.50 for it? You know, I mean, it would have cost a lot more than $3.50, and so I'll definitely keep this, because you never know, someone might love it. You know, I mean, if that's not worth $10 to someone, I don't know what is. Really unusual. Bloody awesome. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Got a good piece of extruded. A couple power boards. And 11 kilos of copper coil. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to open it up just to see how much copper is in there. But, you know, I don't want to sort of destroy it until I work out whether it's actually useful for somebody, you know. Because what I say, it's about $7 in transformer value, scrap transformer. And again, if this was useful, it's certainly going to be worth more than $7 to somebody, at least 20, you know. All right, well, that was it. That was this amplifier. So let's go and do the two others now. Okay, so this is the second version I've got. I've got 3 of these. So again, it's the Party World power amplifiers. So this is a flatter box, so it might be a more modern one. Just looks a little bit more modern. They're still a bit rusty and stuff, but not as much as the first one, so I'm just assuming that the first one was the original style. Okay. Alright, so it's kind of, it's different, but it's almost identical in a way. Is another huge coil, so a little bit flatter than the other one. It's got the 2 heat sinks, but obviously separate this time, so very similar. I think the board on the heat sinks are actually identical. They look, well, almost, they're not identical, but very close. Okay. Oh yeah, a little bit different, but same kind of principle. Well, at least we've got some copper, and still a nice extruded heatsink. Not as interesting as the first one. So, but good aluminium for casting. If you want to melt aluminium, good stuff. All right. Now all I need is a socket for that. Yeah. It's like a ceramic. Just sat there. Wonder what that's for. It's alright. Still heavy. Oh, yeah. I can see more of the copper inside this one. Wow. All right. I'll weigh that up. Okay. Alright, so this one wasn't too bad. Got very similar value. Well, a little bit less than the last one. Just a couple of power boards I'll get to a little bit later. And neighbours' kids have got some crappy rap music blasting. Yeah, great. Now this one weighs 7.7 kilos, so about 4 kilos less than the bigger one. Alright, let's go on to the third one now. Okay, I've got the third one up now. the third version, which is the again Party World. It's the Karaoke preamplifier, so it might be a little bit different, this one. We'll see how it is. Okay, this screw won't come out. All right, okay, interesting again. Got once again, it's very similar. We've got the big coil. It's a nice chunky one too, this one. Huge capacitors on that. They're 1000 UF, 120 volts. Two nice big heat sinks. Yeah. So all three are very, very much the same kind of thing. Yeah. I've got 4 of this one, so I'm going to have a lot of these coils. So I really hope I can find a use for them. Hopefully someone makes a comment and tells me some good news, saying, oh, you know, this, you can build a late model UFO with this and get to Saturn. So I believe it's all happening on Saturn. That's where our creators are. But that's another story or another video subject, I suppose. One day I might get into making conspiracy videos, because it's probably be crazy to think that we're being told the truth about what life is all about. But my life is all about scrapping. So let's try and get this coil out. I'll just need a shifter. Okay. Suppose I can just cut this one out roughly, because I've got a few more to spare. Alrighty. So it's got 1P, 0 to 240 volt, 50 hertz. Yeah, this one's a little bit more complicated. Also dated 2008. 240, 50 hertz. This first one, oh yeah, it's saying 240, 50 hertz. This one just says 8000 amp, 1500 watt. This one doesn't say that. Yeah, I can't make much of it, but yeah, another good one. This one's 6.5, so a little lighter than the one previously. Okay. Yeah, huge capacitors here. It's about three and a bit inches. Same deal. Got a heat sink for each side. This one we can probably just crack. There's that circuit board. See, it's just it's like a bit of fiberglass. It's just copper underneath that. Yeah, but not bad. Not a bad heatsink. Another big one. I mean, it's just a good universal size heatsink for other kind of heatsink projects. Not that I really do much with electronics like that, but alright. I even got a little relay there. Yeah, but huge capacitors. Alright, so that was the third version, the one that I've got most of. And, you know, got to see if I can unpeel one since I've got 4 of these. Let's have a look, shall we? We've got to sacrifice one for the video. Mind you, knowing my luck, this will be the best one out of the lot, and I'm scrapping, but I've still got 3 left of these. Yeah, it's just going to be this plastic stuff, and then a layer of copper wire, then more plastic, then more copper wire. It would be nice just to be able to get in and see how many layers, but that's going to take quite some time. Give me a few minutes and I'll try and get into it. Well, I've got the first layer of plastic off and there's the coil. Geez. And so it's quite thick wire actually. It's quite good, even though it's got this lacquer shellacking, you know, it's yeah, so if I took off all this copper, I'd have another. It looks like there's a few layers. I'm not sure how deep it goes, but I don't have time to go all the way through it, but you get the general picture. Whether it's worth selling it as a transformer or just taking all the copper out, it's probably going to balance out either way, because there is going to be a huge a huge ferrite core in there. But yeah, quite beautiful and quite amazing, you know, that they have to do this. All right. Well, guys, I hope that was a little bit of fun for you. It was for me. Or the question should be, was it as good for you as it was for me? So we got our massive one, which we've only got 1 of. Next size down, we've got 3 of these. I'll keep them all like that until work out if there's any use. And got 4 of these, or 3 good ones, and this one I'm going to scrap right out. Okay, well, I took off the first layer of plastic and the first layer of copper. So that's the copper out of the first, and this one's really thick, and then the next layer, it's quite thin. So just have a little quick look. It's 515 grams of copper, so over a pound of copper just in first layer. That's okay. It's about $3 worth there. Not that I'm going to sell it, I'm going to melt it down into a copper bar. Okay, so that's the second layer, and I'm not sure. There might be one more layer underneath. It certainly does take some time, so stay tuned, hang in there, and I'll take off all this copper, get the plastic off, and see what's underneath. Maybe we'll get a third layer. Okay, the second layer of copper. It was only a little bit that was very fine, and this one is about half the grade as the first one. What do we get? 245 grams. So far we've got over 750 grams. And we've got a third layer. It looks like that's the end. Third layer, and then it doesn't look like it's a ferrite core. It looks like steel plates that are wrapped around. So now I'm very curious, so I've got to get through this third layer of copper now. So leave it with me. That's if anyone is still here watching. Okay, layer 3 done, and again 240 grams. So in that coil we can say there's exactly 1 kilogram of copper, or 2.2 pounds. So 1 kilo, and I can't remember what this weighed. I'd have to go back in the video, but I think it was 4.5 kilos, was it? Well, less the plastic. Oh no, it was more. That's 5.1 kilos and 1 kilo of copper, so it must have been over 6 kilos. So that's what's left. It's just more of this tape. So 3 layers. That's not bad. It is time consuming. Make no mistake about it. It's not the sort of thing you do if you're in a hurry. But I got this plastic everywhere. So it's a bit of work, but so that's it. It looks like, yeah, it's one sheet of metal wrapped around like 100 times, and there's the end. I reckon it's going to spring open. I'll just see what sort of metal it is. Yeah, it's definitely steel. 5 kilos of steel. And it's, yeah, I thought it was going to be ferrite, a ferrite core. I'm going to take a risk and see if I can pop it and see if it'll, hopefully it doesn't just spring open. Actually, I might just put on some safety glasses. Yeah, I'll put on this face shield just in case it springs open. Okay. Oh, how's that? I've never seen anything like that. It smells like paint, so that would be the glue. They must have put maybe just a fine layer of resin to sort of keep it stuck. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Useless, but interesting. Alright guys, well, phew, a bit of a New Year's scrap out. Now I'm just going to clean this up for a few drinks later on. Okay guys, catch you next time.